just a few, so we're all fresh today. Just to let you know what's happening then, there'll be the 2 matches this morning, and then there's an hour's break from the end of the second match to the start of this afternoon. And then this afternoon we run all the way through, rather than give you an evening session as well. Too many people complained that they didn't get home for their tea and then didn't want to come out again. So, and Sky Television start here on Wednesday. So, and at the moment you're being beamed up round the globe through the internet, through YouTube, which is going very, very well. 2,000 odd people signed up yesterday to watch, so it's very good. It's going very well. Just like to say thank you once again to all the volunteers from the club who have been coming in to do the stewarding and operating. At either end there's a camera and we have volunteers for them. And this poor gentleman who comes in all day, every day for the rest of the week. But no, so that's what we're doing. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's crack on with today. So welcome everybody to the Co-operative Funeralcare International Open here at Blackpool Newton Hall. And your players today, let's bring on, he's an ex-England international. He emigrated to Australia and he's come all the way over. So let's really welcome on Stephen Halmy.
Ain't seen nothing yet. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. It's something that you're never gonna forget. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. Bring it around. That's what you told me.
And as again, Stephen, ladies and gentlemen, he's a former Welsh Open champion. He's world ranked at number 13 from England, Mark Royal. And I'll hand you over to commentary with Janice Gower.
Well, thank you, Richard, and good morning and welcome all to the Co-operative Funeralcare International Open 2016, here hosted by Blackpool Newton Hall. And our first game on day 2 features England's Mark Royal versus Steve Halmy, who's representing Australia. He's one of the Australian qualifiers here. And we're in for an interesting game this morning. Stephen's got quite a bit of time in practicing on the rink. Mark arrived yesterday, so I might find the first few ends are just settlers for both players. I always get asked early on in games to let people know what the players are playing with, and Mark Royal's opted to play with his Drake's Pride Professionals. And Stephen is an aero bowls player. He's playing with aero size 4.5s. Very interesting delivery from Steve. I'm sure we might see him getting very close to the shot clock here. Very deliberate stance on the mat. Takes his time. And that's what he produces. That's why I'm saying it could be an interesting game this morning. Don't forget, we're live with you for the rest of today. Full HD on the YouTube World Bowls Tour stream. If you've got any questions for us today, we had a few questions in yesterday, but please send your questions in. We'd like you to feel involved in the coverage here. And you can send those in via the YouTube chat, Facebook or our Twitter, which is World Bowls Tour 1. And if you can't stay with us, follow the results on the new World Bowls Tour website, which is worldbowlstour.tv. Steve's played another good ball here, just slipped behind.
To green.
Like I say, if you pop your questions to us, we'll try and get them answered. If you're interested in chatting and Sending any questions to one of our overseas players. New Zealand's Murray Glassy is joining me in the commentary box for the second game of this morning's session. That follows this one directly, and that will be Robert Paxton versus Neil Furman.
1 green.
So any questions about overseas qualification? How hard it is for these guys to get over here? Then we can put those to Murray in the second game this morning. Good again here. It's got a little thin on the jack, but I don't think he moved it far enough to
2 green.
take away from 2 green.
2 inches short.
A lot of people might be looking at Steve and saying, well, I recognise him, not from the Australian signature next to his name, but yes, he was an England senior international from 1984 to 1997 and emigrated over to Australia. And what a bowl from Mark Royal that was, threaded it through the gap.
1 red.
Yeah, very precise on the mat. I was saying yesterday that deliveries vary from player to player. Close here, needs the bowl. Just a touch on the jack would do. Oh, what a great effort that was. Opening blood there to Mark
1
Royal.
shot. Mark Royal.
First end, we play 2 sets of 9 ends, and if necessary, a 3-end tie break. Didn't go to any tie breaks yesterday, but we had a few tied sets, which was unusual.
Chat length 24.5 meters.
Well, it's all about the opening bowls in these sets games. Saw yesterday the player that tended to nail it with their opening bowl was the one that dominated the set. Mark Royal's looking good here for an opener. He's just proving that he can play it off either hand. Another good bowl there from Mark. Steve had a good pace with his first, so he might opt now to just try and follow Mark's down.
Two red.
A little bit unlucky there, Steve. Mark playing a good length again here. Well, Steve's just got to adjust. Mark Royals holding 2 shots at the moment.
Two red. One shot, Mark Royal.
Set score 2-0 after 2 ends. Shot length 26.5 meters.
Well, both players have been playing fairly well so far, starting off this game. So we normally say the first few ends are a little bit nervy, settling down ones for overseas qualifiers, but Steve's no stranger to the UK. Played for England. He's won the English pairs twice, 1987 and 1988. He's been to the Scottish International Open as well as the World Pairs. He's used to the set as well. A lot of these Australians play under these sort of sets and TV cameras. Certainly they play the sport very professionally over in Australia.
Two red.
Well, Steve's just looking to get to Mark's ball on this left-hand side of your screen. He's very close.
Two red.
One of the questions we've had in is why is Steve playing in shorts? Players are allowed to play in shorts, cut-offs, long white trousers. It's their own personal choice. I would think if Steve's used to playing in shorts at home, if he feels more comfortable in shorts. And I will tell you, inside the arena there, as you can see, it's got quite a low ceiling and it does get very warm. So it's really whichever you're more comfortable in. They have to provide their own white shorts or trousers. He's been practicing in shorts all week as well, so he must feel comfortable playing in shorts. Touches his foot there as he lines up for the shot. Different players have different ways of lining themselves up. Very an interesting delivery, this one.
Two shots, Mark Royal.
Well, number 13, Mark Royal, takes another 2 shots. That gives him a 4-0 lead after
Set
3
score
ends.
4-0 after 3 ends.
There you hear the umpire, Mike Davis, just confirming that score to the people in the auditorium. There are screens in there from which they can see the action and also see the scores. But if they're just sat somewhere where they can't quite see the score, we like to keep everybody informed. Mark Royal's currently standing at world rank 13.
Chat led 25.5 metres.
He did get up to world rank 2 back in 2009 when he just won the Welsh International Open. Now he's just in that area, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, that we've said yesterday in commentary is the area you want to be still stringing a few games together at events. Keep yourself in that top 16. If you're in the top 16 in the world ranking, you get to play in all of the World Bowls Tour televised ranking events. We have 3 at the moment, which is Scottish International Open, the World Singles, and the Co-operative Funeralcare International Open here at Blackpool. This is the final one of their ranking events, so it's quite crucial for those that are in a position of danger on the ranking that they try and string together a few games here. Well, Steve, just going to pull up short, I think.
2 red.
Mark wasn't the best of health last season, but he's recovering well from that now, and
3 red.
nice to see him back out there smiling and enjoying his bowls. Currently holds 3, does Mark Royal, so Steve needs to just slot this one past that short red bowl of Mark's. It's in the area.
One red.
Still 1 red. He was very unlucky there just to touch the jack to Mark's bowl. Mark's on a good track here. He'll swoop all the way. Great
2
effort.
red.
Yep, made 2. Well played, Mark. 2 games here for you this morning. Mark Royal versus Steve Halmy, followed by Robert Paxton versus Neil Furman. There'll be a break for lunch. Well, this could go. He might have just touched his own further in, not sure that. Sandra McLeish will let us know. It's a measure. And this afternoon after lunch we have Alex Marshall MBE versus Ben Twist from Australia. Stuart Anderson versus English qualifier Stuart Irwin. Jonathan Ross versus Murray Glassy. And Andy Thompson MBE versus Dick Lai. And those are your games for today. Stay with us if you can. If you can't, you can follow the results on worldbowlstour.tv. Davis, the umpire there, being called to give us a decision on which shot is closest to the jack. It's the green ball.
One shot, Mark Royal.
So one was declared before the measure, and Mark Royal takes a 5-0 lead after 4 ends in the opening set.
Set score 5-0 after 4 ends. Jack length 25.5 metres.
Still sticking to the shorter jack length. Players get the opportunity to practice out there, so we normally try and find a length that their bowls get back to the middle. I think Nicky Brett in commentary yesterday was saying players do tend to try different sets of bowls until they're happy with a set they feel will comfortably get back to the middle for them. Close here. He's really just been unlucky. The score certainly doesn't reflect how well Steve's played. He'll be disappointed at the moment to be 5-0 down against the world number 13. Got a new cameraman on this end of the camera. He did apologise in advance for any wobbly shots early doors. It's the centre manager himself, Jonathan Goodall. Great team here at Blackpool Newton Hall. It's my home club as well. We like to all think that we work hard to pull events like this together.
2 red.
To support the World Bowls Tour. And we're very grateful to the Kearsley family, who are the owners, for all their support. And of course the Co-operative Funeralcare, who we couldn't run these events without their sponsorship. Fantastic supporters of the game of bowls at all levels.
Three red.
We're looking at a runner here from Steve. Oh, just missed it. That was very close. Certainly gets his delivery away with a bit of a bump. He played out of Tweed Heads, and he's retired according to his player profile with 6 children. So I'm sure the 6 children and possibility of grandchildren there will keep him very busy in his retirement. Mark Royal owns his own bowls retail company. And his shop's on site here this week. If you need anything, pop down to Blackpool. And I'm sure Mark, when he's not on the rink of course, will help you with any choices. Well, he looks closer here. He's played more of a timer. Oh, great effort again. Well, that 3 could be
3
costly.
shots, Mark Royal.
World number 13 is 8-0 up after 5 ends first set. We play 9 end sets.
Set score 8-0 after 5 ends.
Of course, after the first set, it all starts afresh. Going into set 2. If each player wins a set each, we go into a tie break. We haven't had a tie break here yet this week. We had some great games yesterday. Defending champion and world number 1 Nick Brett beat Gary Smith. Greg Harlow then went on to beat Robert Chisholm.
Chat length 25 metres.
The shock of yesterday was world number 12 Jason Greenslade. Was beaten by Canadian qualifier Cody Althoff. Mervyn King managed to get past Michael Cheeseman in a really good game. And David Gourley beat the wild card Stephen Allen. And then the last game last night, Wayne Hogg, world number 17, beat Kobe Hadar from Israel. And for all the results and the news and reports on those games, go to worldbowlstour.tv. A couple of loose openers there, but Mark Royal won't be too worried about that. He's 4 ends left to play, he's 8 shots up. It's all a question for Mark of just closing this set down now.
One green. One red.
Well, with that delivery, he hasn't really frightened the shot clock much, but most of the players, especially the more experienced top 16, know how long it takes them to deliver a bowl.
One green.
When the shot clock was brought in, many of them timed the delivery so they knew exactly how long they'd got to get back to the mat. And Mark just looking to rest his own side bowl there. This is close as well.
One red. Time.
Yeah, called a
Time and
timeout there. 3 seconds remaining. Just gives him the time to think about the shot he wants to play. The players get 5 timeouts within the main part of the game, the 2 9-end sets. They can take them whenever they want. It gives them an extra 60 seconds. You have 30 seconds as a rule to deliver a bowl after the last bowls come to rest. Oh, well, that was the worst result possible. He was going for the bowl, he got the bowl, but the bowl took all his own bowls out the head as well. Again, not exactly a textbook delivery.
3 shots, Mark Royal.
Quite interesting because a lot of these Australians and
Set
Southern
score
Hemisphere
11-0.
New Zealanders have got very, very smooth textbook deliveries. Mark Royal that's gone on the mat now is one of the few really top class left-handed players, and he's got a real textbook, very smooth delivery. For those of you out there on YouTube that are perhaps new to the game and have just tuned into us here at the Co-operative Funeralcare International Open, hosted by
27
Blackpool
meters.
Newton Hall. Watch this delivery. Very still. Swings back. Nice clean release. Great delivery. Well, I think Steve will have to accept that he's going into a second set now, 1 set down. And he just wants to get his drawing back. He'd have to score 2 4s and a 3 to tie this set now. So sometimes players will just think to themselves, well, let me just try and get my drawing back in line, because I know I've got to beat him in the second set.
1 red.
Rogues gallery of players there in the top corner of the auditorium. Saw Kobe Hadar from Israel there, and sat next to him is Neil Furman, who's the next player up this morning.
1 green.
Well, Mark looks on a good track here. Forward to reach as he's got a ball behind. Might just drop a little bit short.
1 green.
Looks on a good track again here, Steve, but doesn't want to move the jack too far. Stays with it, is good. He's after the 3 though there.
1
A
green.
little bit of a wry smile, but he's certainly got his drawing back in at this end. Well, Mark gave it a whirl down there. He won't be unhappy about the situation though, because, like I say, he can afford to drop the 1 here. He still wins the set. I think Steve was just sort of waving his arms there to say, well, what can I do? Needs a 3 to keep him in with a chance of tying the set. Oh, and almost put the jack back to where it was, so it could be 2 or 3. 2.
2 shots, Steve Halmy. First set, Mark Royal.
Yeah, so he picks up a 2 on that last end. That was a good end of bowls from Steve. He's not played badly, but Mark Royal's certainly just had the edge, the world number 13. And we move into the second set of 9 ends. A set that Steve's got to win to take us into a tie-break. A few more people coming into the crowd today. I think ticket sales for today and the rest of the week were very good. There might be a few left. If you want to contact Blackpool, they'll let you know. But every bowl's available for you here on the World Bowls Tour YouTube streaming, full HD. And I'm with you for the rest of today and tomorrow.
Chat length 31.5 metres.
Well, that's a full length here at Blackpool. Blackpool, we play on the bona fide rink 2. The stands as you see them there are laid out on rinks 1 and 3. We're a 7 rink venue, but that's split. It's 3 rinks, 2 rinks and 2 rinks. And it was the old animal houses for the Tower Circus. It gives the club great character. It makes it a very cosy, welcoming club. Well, I like to think so, and I'm biased because it's my home club. And of course, tomorrow afternoon we'll have a lot of home support as the homester got into the top 16 last year. Mark Dawes starts his case here. And then he faces Irish qualifier Graham McKee in the second game on tomorrow afternoon. Don't forget, we like to keep you involved and make you feel like you can ask us any questions. We knew from the World Championships back in January, held at Potters, we had quite a few people tuning into YouTube that had never watched bowls before. If you've got any questions on the rules or on the World Bowls Tour, or to put to one of the players, if you bob them over to us, we'll endeavour to get them answered for you as soon as we can. Next game on here. I'm joined in commentary by Murray Glassy, the New Zealand qualifier. And he's said he's quite happy to take any questions the viewers have on YouTube for him. He faces Jonathan Ross later on this afternoon. So it's very, very kind of him to come into commentary just a few hours before he's to take to the stage himself. Looks close again here, Steve. Yeah, good bowls there.
3 green.
Mark having a good think about this. He might top to play a little bit of a runner. He's a draw player as a rule. He has got a runner in his armoury, as of all these top players. But he is one of the ones that would favour to draw himself out of trouble. This is all on his pace. If he's just overplayed, which he has, it'll just hang off. Great effort
2
though.
green.
Just underplayed that. That's tightened up the gap for the runner though, so I think Mark will just try and adjust on his last delivery. He's urging this on. It's on a very good track. On a very good track here, Mark. Oh, what a great bowl that was. Absolutely perfect delivery, perfect result.
2 shots, Mark Royal.
Oh, that was a great last bowl from Mark Royal to take the 2 shots at the opening end of the second set. Good to see Mark urging his bowls on. He's one of the more vocal players on a rink. Considered one of the quiet men on the circuit, but he's got a cracking sense of humour.
Jack length 25.5 metres.
Yeah, sticking to the shorter length jack. To deliver the first bowl, the players aren't under shot clock. They've got no time limit from the jack being set to playing that first bowl. Tend to find some of the more experienced players will use that opportunity to just really take the time, knowing that the next 3 bowls will be played under shot clock. That's a great lead bowl from Mark Royal. The winner of this morning's game will face the winner of the game next on, which is Robert Paxton versus Neil Furman.
On green.
Mark just playing to try and reach his own bowl, turn it on to the jack. Steve will just be looking to just get behind that jack, stop that shot of Mark's. I think that's probably gone a little bit deeper than he needed, but still it's a good covering bowl at that there. Well, Mark just looking to try something similar. Just overplayed it. It's a very good rink here because it's an actual true club rink, so you can play all the shots on it, but I noticed yesterday some players, runners, in particular Steve Allen, seem to just hold off and virtually track against themselves a little bit. So this should get Steve on the card in this second set.
One shot, Steve Halmy.
Yeah, one shot to Steve.
Set score 2-1 after 2 ends. Jack length 31.5 meters.
Again, just risking it there a little bit. In practice, the players don't get to send the jack. They tend to set the jack and play to it. So that could be the reasoning out there. He's not the first one to risk sending it off. Oh, great reply there from Mark Royal. Again, Steve's played very, very well, so he'll be hoping to hang on in here and well, close here. Just needs a nibble on Mark's bowl, just open it up a touch. Very unlucky.
On red.
The last one's just short now, is it?
Yes, 6 inches short of Jack high.
Mark will just want to get another one in close here. And on the first set, he just wants to make sure he doesn't drop a count in the second set and just hold the game tight.
What's the gap the shot ball on the jack, please?
Half an inch.
Close here, great bowl there from Steve.
2 green.
That's what he was looking for. Played it perfectly. Mark having a bit of a think about this one now. Yep, choosing to take his time to come and have a look. He'll call a timeout here.
Time
And
out ball.
from our angle here, it looks like he
Mark's
could
4
play
timeouts remaining.
a timer down the forehand. Timer down the backhand. My concern with that was the way that his last runner held off. He's got a chance of chipping his own bowl out and making the count worse. But he'll have had a look at that now. He'll have made his decision. If he's going to play any sort of runner, it's always better to play it with your third bowl rather than wait until your last. Yep, playing that timer down the backhand. Just going to hang off again. Watch this, folks. Just hanging off. The carpet's been stretched out there twice before the set was put on. I'm reliably informed by Richard Maddison, the CEO of the World Bowls Tour. Now, whether that's why some of these timed runner bowls are having that sort of effect. Well, doesn't want to open it up himself here.
I think it's 3, Mark.
Yeah, could possibly have made 3 out of that. Our marker, Sandra McLeish, just saying she thinks it's 3 there. Needs it to run. Well, he won't be happy with that.
4 shots, Steve Halmy.
Count of 4, you don't see many of those in these top games against the top 16 in the world. Well,
Set
Steve
score
Halmy
2-5 after 3 ends.
certainly deserved that at that end. Played a very, very good end of bowls.
Chat length 23 metres.
Well, Steve's just looking for a slight adjustment. He's watching it all the way. It just looks to be hanging off a touch.
On red. To red.
Great bowl there from Steve. It might have made 2. Yeah, it's made a 2 out of it. Oh, Mark. Going to have a bit of a fight here. He's played a runner, timer down. Only got his own away. That was very unfortunate. Great picture of the crowd there. The players are behind Steve there. Tend to sit in that area. So if you want to do a bit of player spotting, that's normally the area to look in. If my eyesight's correct, I think Graham McKee's arrived there. He's sat on the back row. Yeah, Graham McKee's there on the back row, far left-hand side. He faces Mark Dawes tomorrow afternoon. Oh, Mark, your own bowl gets a result. Oh, great result, perfection result, really. I think it might have just chipped one out, but it's managed to get a shot out of it.
Mark Royal.
He'll be relieved at that. I didn't want to drop another 2 there.
Set score 3-5 after 4 ends.
Well, we play 9 end sets here. Steve Halmy, if he'd have picked up a count of 2 there, that would have made a big difference in this second set. So a very big pressure bowl there from Mark Royal. Manages to get a shot out of it. Manages to tighten that scoreline up a bit.
25.5 meters.
Well, Mark's played a good ball again there. So the crowd nicely filling up now towards lunchtime. Next game up's a very interesting game. World ranked 19 in the world, Neil Furman from the USA faces world ranked 4, Robert Paxton. Neil played at the World Championships in January, but was carrying a slight injury there. He's managed to get rid of that injury, played well there, so I think a few people out there are anticipating the next game being a good game to watch. Fantastic to see these top players from all over the world here at Blackpool.
2.
Played a timer, might get a result off his own bowl. Oh, just missed it. Again, he's just looking at this timer bowl. Is the right shot to play? Not an easy shot on here to play. I just lost the camera there.
1 shot, Mark Royal.
1 shot to Mark, brings him within 1 now.
Set score 4-5 after 5 ends.
Well, as you see, Sandra McLeish out there, this is her retirement week. She actually finishes at the end of this week from World Bowls Tour umpiring duties. It'll be a very emotional week, I would think, for Sandra when we get to the end of it. It certainly was at the last two of the ranking events. She will certainly be missed on the tour. And we've got a lot of lovely messages in for Sandra, and she'd like me to thank you all on her behalf. She's very grateful to all the support and all the lovely messages. Our umpire at the moment is Mike Davis, and on the shot clock is Tom Weir, and the resting umpire for this game is Francis Fletcher. We have 4 match officials at each event. Very, very strong squad of officials. There's 3 others that you're not seeing here at the moment. Dan Blewett and Alan Thornhill, regulars. They'll be here at the May event, and they'll be joined by the newbie, Dan McManus. Dan will take over Sandra's position from the end of this week. He's actually joining us for the last few days of this event, just to familiarise himself with the surroundings. Give a shout out to Dan Blewett, because I know he's listening and watching in, and I would just like to say thanks, Dan, because yesterday I had a viewers questioning for an umpire, and as I was locked away in the commentary box, the best way I could get it answered, as I thought at the time, was texting Dan, and he was very swift to respond to my text. So as I say, these match officials, they're all there for your questions. We'll get them answered. Always good to have questions coming in. We like to make you feel that you're part of what's going on here. And as we found at the World Championships, we have a lot of viewers that tune into YouTube, pick up the bowls, not sure on why, what or where, or a question about what they're looking at. Well, now's your time to ask it while we're on YouTube. We like to feel we're interactive for you. Steve's just having a bit of a look at this. He's 1 down, but if he arrives into the head, Mark's got the other 2 receiving bowls. He'll take a time out here. Just asking how many thirds.
Last ball, third.
It's hard here for Steve because he doesn't want to drop another shot, but it could go worse for him. He's looking to play a runner. He's gone quicker. That's what I feared. And taking his own ball out the head. He obviously felt like it was a risk worth taking. The umpire Mike Davis being called on again to let us know between those 2 balls. Sandra's just chocked the ball.
2 shots, Mark Royal.
2 shots to Mark Royal takes him into the lead now. He leads 6-5 after 6 ends in the second set. He won the first set 11-2.
Set score 6-5 after 6 ends. Cat length 25.5 meters.
Well, we quite often say that the 7th end of a 9-end set is quite important, and this really is a key end for Steve. If he's to win this set, he had a 5-2 lead after 3 ends. Mark Royal's managed to drag that all the way back and go in the lead. And quite a crucial end. This set will pan out for the last 2 ends. Looks close here, Mark. Might have just hung on to shot. If it sits down, I would think it would get shot. Sandra McLeish just having a quick look for us. 1 green, still 1 green. The officials don't like to take up any of the players' time. They're aware that questions and answering questions are part of the 30 seconds that the players have in the shot clock. So it does put the match officials under a great deal of pressure to answer those questions very quickly. Steve's asking that ball to sit down. Sat on a bit of a funny angle. Some bowls have got quite a large grip to them, and when a carpet's been stretched, you often find that a bowl won't sit down. I think Mark just wants to play something similar to his last, really. He could rest that last bowl. Mark's just saying, if mine falls, don't tell me. Like I say, he's certainly one of the characters on a rink. People certainly like being in the crowd when Mark's about. He gets involved with people, he'll chat to people. With the shot clock now, it's means that the players can't be quite as chatty with the spectators, but some of them still like to have a smile. Needs this to swoop. Almost a perfect bowl. Still the green and the red bowl are still both sitting at a interesting angle. Well, Steve will be happy to count the 1 here. He certainly won't want to trail the jack or touch the jack to Mark's bowl. If he hangs on to this 1 here, keeps the set nice and tight going into the last 2 ends. He's played this on a nice wide draw.
One shot, Steve Halmy.
Yeah, 1 shot to Steve Halmy ties the set up. As the Scottish would say, it's peeled. The scores at
Both
6
players on
all
3 timeouts remaining.
after 7 ends. 2 ends left of this second set.
Set score 6-6 after 7 ends.
Makes it very interesting going into the last 2 ends. Don't forget, if you can stick about with us, straight after this game will be the trial ends and then straight into the match of Robert Paxton, world number 4, versus Neil Furman, world number 19.
Chat length 31.5 metres.
For that game, being joined in the commentary box by New Zealand's Murray Glassy, so any questions about overseas qualification or anything you'd like to put to one of the overseas players, Murray's kindly agreed to come into commentary this afternoon, or this morning rather, as he's playing this afternoon. He's playing against Jonathan Ross, which is our 5th game on of the day. And we're with you for every bowl that's sent here at the Co-operative Funeralcare International Open, kindly hosted by Blackpool Newton Hall. Well, Mark just looking to tuck round the short bowl of Steve's and get back to the jack.
1 green.
Well, he's gone for a bit of cover there. I think he would just be looking to get inside Mark Royal's back bowl there.
Yes.
I mean, he needs to count, obviously, but at the moment he's very vulnerable because he's only got 1 bowl in the head. Mark is trying to play a timer through the gap for the bowl. He's very close. Very close. Gonna get the jack. Nibble on the jack. This is where we sometimes have to have a bit of guesswork with our cameras here. World Bowls Tour have been very pleased with the response we've had with YouTube and how many spectators we're actually getting on the World Bowls Tour YouTube site. Great picture of the trophy there. We are looking, I spoke to Richard Maddison, the CEO of the World Bowls Tour, about getting more cameras in so that we can get better angles for you when we're on YouTube. This looks a good track for where the jack seems to be positioned. Wonderful. Ah, perfect timing. Cameraman Phil's just picked that up for us in perfect time. Mark, as you see there, is just playing a track under the line to try and follow Steve's bowl to the jack. Doesn't want to drop a count. He's very close there. It's just gone.
One shot, Steve Halmy.
So Steve Halmy takes one shot, which puts him one shot up, playing the last end.
Set score 6-7 after 8 ends.
It's quite a simple formulation now. If Steve Halmy wins this end, we go into a tie break. If Mark Royal wins this end, he takes the game. Quite amazing how sometimes these games started at 9:45 here. We've now just clicked on the 11 o'clock mark. It's quite amazing how sometimes games can come down to one end. Stephen Halmy, as I mentioned, wins
Jack
this
length,
end.
31.5 metres.
We'd go into our first tie break of the event. The rules slightly different in the tie break. But for now, Mr. Halmy needs to concentrate on winning this end. Crucial first bowl here. Close as you can. Well, loose-ish opener from Steve Halmy. I mean, we've seen worse bowls here this week, but this game has been a very good game from both players. Probably fair statement that he's coming down to this end. The first set was won by Mark Royal 11-2. It was one of those situations where you say the score doesn't necessarily reflect the game. Well, Mark, opportunity now to nail the jack. Looks better for line here. That's a good bowl.
One red.
Yeah, worth Steve coming to have a look at this. This is a big point in time in the game. He's still got, I think, 3 timeouts remaining, according to my sheet, so plenty of time to take. There we see a picture of the shot clock ticking down, 14, 13, 12. He'll have to take a timeout, but doesn't need to take it until it gets closer to
Timeout call.
the
Steve has
end
2
of his
timeouts
time,
remaining.
because that gives him the extra minute then. You often see some inexperienced players taking the time out when they've still got 20 seconds or 18 or that sort of seconds on the clock, and that's a bit pointless. You need to wait until it gets down to about 5 seconds. Take your time out, and then that gives you the extra 60 seconds. All on his pace here. He's played it very well. Is it just going to go under? Yeah, just under the line. Great effort there from Steve.
One red.
Right, Mark won't want to make the target any bigger.
3.5 inch gap.
And he's just asked how far off his bowl is. Be quite happy to hear that. Needs to get a second in, really. Doesn't want Steve to take out his bowl clean. Also didn't really want to open that up. There's quite a bit of room there now.
2 red.
Still a bit of pressure on Steve here. Got to draw a shot with this. There's room to do it. Oh, Steve. Draw shot here. Pressure's all back on Mark Royal and gives you a chance of a tie break. Misses with this.
Time out called.
Misses the draw with this. And Mark Royal steps into the second round here at Blackpool Newton Hall, where he'll face the winner of Robert Paxton or Neil Furman. But the way Steve Halmy's been playing, would you bet against him drawing it here? Good track. All on your pace, Steve. Great track. Has he overplayed it? I think he's overplayed it. Mark Rose takes his place in the second round. Thanks for your company.
2 shots, second set, a match to Mark Royal.
Join us after the short break for Robert Paxton versus Neil Furman, where I'll be kindly joined by Murray Glassy.
Well, once more, ladies and gentlemen.
See you shortly.
Both players, your appreciation. They played a good match for you. Your players will be in shortly for their trial ends for your second match. first match this morning. Yeah. Okay, so for your second match, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-operative Funeralcare International Open here at Blackpool. It's nice to be here with everybody. Nice to see quite a few people in the seats this morning. Well, let's bring your players on, ladies and gentlemen. From the USA, he's been on the World Bowls Tour circuit since 2002. He's USA International, ladies and gentlemen. A big welcome to Neil Furman. And up against him, ladies and gentlemen, he's world ranked at number 4, reached the final of this year's World Singles just recently. From England, it is Robert Paxton. Over to commentary with Janice Gower and Murray Glassy.
Well, thank you very much, Richard. And we're in for a very interesting game, I think, on paper here. Two experienced players on the World Bowls Tour. Neil Furman on the mat there, qualifier from the USA, currently world ranked 19, playing the runner-up from the World Championship, man in form at the moment, world ranked number 4, Robert Paxton. And I'm delighted to be joined in the commentary box by the New Zealand qualifier, Murray Glassy. Welcome to World Bowls Tour YouTube commentary, Murray.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
That's all right.
It's an interesting game here. Both have had a bit of time on the rink. I think you've had a few practice sessions with Neil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, well, we've been caravanning together. The Caravan of Nations, I like to call it, with Ben and Stephen.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Looks like a good opening bowl here.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Yeah, that's not a bad start. Nice settler for him. Don't forget, we're live on YouTube. Full HD for the Co-operative Funeralcare International Open 2016. For every bowl played out there at Blackpool Newton Hall. And we like to think that we're interactive for you, so if you've got any questions, just put them down on either the YouTube chat, on Facebook, or on Twitter, which is World Bowls Tour 1. And if you've got any questions for Murray, who's sat with me, as long as they're repeatable broadcastable on TV, we'll go for them, Murray, if we get them in, yeah?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about rugby as well.
Well, there you
We're
go.
pretty good at rugby in New Zealand. So.
Well, I've heard so, yes, yeah. Somebody has a rumour of that.
The gap is 9 inches.
Well, again, Rob's been on fair, decent form recently, just lost out in the World Championships final to Nicky Brett. It was a really good final. Neil Furman was at the World Championships,
1 red.
but he was
Front
carrying
row.
an injury then. I spoke to him a couple of days back here at Blackpool. He's recovered from that injury. He actually tells me he was playing a couple of games there with a broken foot.
He said he broke his foot over
Yeah.
at the Worlds, yeah.
He thought he'd just damaged something, and then when he got back he had it x-rayed and it was actually broken, but as we've seen him walking there, he seems to be okay again now.
Just falling short. I won't be happy with that.
How have you found the carpet over here at Blackpool?
It's a little bit different from home. It's like I use completely different bowls. My bowls are a lot narrower, so it's like starting all over again, really.
So you've been having a go with some of the World Bowls Tour
Yes, I've
pool bowls, yeah.
settled on some Revolutions, I'll be using this afternoon.
That's handy because I can make that note down for commentary because people always like to know what the players are playing with. I think when spectators are sat at home watching it on YouTube, or they like to sort of think, if I'm bowling with the same bowl as that person, is it taking that sort of line? Where would I put it?
Yes, that's right.
Slightly overplayed here. Great head of bowls to start off with, though.
This is very, very tight, actually.
Quite a few people on paper before the start of the event looked at this draw and thought it was quite a tough one for Rob. Neil is a great reputation on the circuit and well liked, so I think he'll have a few people in the crowd supporting him out there.
I think so. He seems to win most of the United States qualifiers.
One shot, Robert
doesn't
Paxton.
That's one shot to Rob at the first end, but that's one of the best opening ends of bowls we've seen so far. Perhaps you'd like to tell people at home how tough it is to qualify, because we often explain about the UK qualifiers, but you've got the same systems to go through over there. It's not just one game of bowls and hey, you're through. It's
No, I had to win 8 games to get here myself. Yeah,
it's tough.
and
Tough.
it's not easy. No.
Jack length 29.5 metres.
I know often we go to the events and the public afterwards will sort of say, oh, well, hard luck, but best of luck next year. And I don't think they realise that you've then got to go through the process of playing all those games again to get back.
The stats all over again.
That's why it's key for somebody like Neil, who's actually on the edge of the top 16. He's at 19. There's been so many shake-ups recently in the top 16. You know, if Neil could tie a few games together here, it'll give him a real good chance of... that was a disturbance. You'll notice that the shot clock will be stopped there. There's some sort of interference, I think, on the speaker system out in the auditorium. The shot clock is stopped because that is not Neil Furman's fault. So therefore you'll see in the background there the shot clock's been started again. Not easy to recompose yourself after that though, is it, Maury?
No, we had that happen to us when we were practicing a few days ago, the same thing. You think there's something coming through the building, really.
And you kind of, even when you refocus, you stand on the mat and you think, is that going to happen again?
Yes, that's right.
Which has probably happened to Neil's delivery there.
Yeah, sort of anticipating, waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, waiting for it to happen again. Well, Rob will want to make the most of that. We've seen how Neil set off in the first end. Well, Neil's just got an adjustment on there.
Looks like he might be pulling up short again, actually.
Yeah, that's just a bit unfortunate, really, because he had a good target there to reach Rob's bowl at the back.
He did, actually. It's not good. He obviously didn't try to be short. He wanted to reach them.
Is it your first time over to the country?
I played in the Welsh Masters in 2003.
Right.
It was a while ago, so...
Still sounds like there's a little bit of interference going out there on the mics. I think Neil's just standing back again to see if it's happening again. It's not really what you want when you're out there, but...
No, it seems like he's got better weight this time, I think.
Yep, good ball.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's quite an intimate venue here as well. The spectators are very close to you, so that's something else that, you know, you get movement in the crowd. It's
Yeah, it is off-putting. It takes your focus away from what you're trying to do.
And yourself, you're facing Jonathan Ross this afternoon.
I am, yes.
Have you played John before?
No, I haven't played him. I met him last night. He was in a good mood, so to say.
Yeah, that would probably be because he was in the bar, was
He's-
he?
He did. He came
Yeah,
out of the bar
perhaps.
and had a practice and then went straight back.
Rob's last bowl, the gap is
That sounds like John.
his nearest goes front bowl, last bowl. Yes, that's 3 inches past.
One of the social characters in the top 16. Shall we put it that way to be fairly polite?
He certainly is.
Well, Neil, chance here. Similar line to his last.
Looks like he might just be good enough.
Touch on that jack.
Um,
Very good.
I have noticed that if you get a touch on the jack, the jack seems to roll a bit further than what you expect. Saw that with Stephen's game in the last game. Actually, he played a good bowl, moved the jack a little bit, and it sort of rolled a couple inches further than I thought.
Could be
That could
because it was the carpet was stretched, I believe, on Wednesday before they put the stands down. So whether that's made the difference. I've actually not been out on the surface since it's been put down, because obviously this is our usual rink 2 here at Blackpool, so a bit different to the portable rink because it's a good little bit longer as well. You're playing a 31.5 metre jack at full length. Sandra McLeish there with the calipers. Just keeps adjusting them until she's very close to both bowl and jack. Sees if the calipers go through the other bowl and makes the decision.
One shot, Neil Furman.
Just one shot to Neil there. He just obviously took the jack too far. Like you mentioned, it just moved a little bit further than he thought it was going to do. 1-1.
Set score is 1-1 after 2 ends.
Nice crowd in there today. I think they're anticipating some good games of bowls. Don't forget, after this game we have a lunch break, and then we have Alex Marshall MBE versus Ben Twist from Australia. Stuart Anderson faces the English qualifier Stuart Irwin. Jonathan Ross faces the gentleman next to me from New Zealand, Murray Glassy. And then we finish today's play with Andy Thompson MBE versus Dick Lai from Hong Kong. And we're with you for every bowl played. Looks like a decent line here
It
again.
does actually. It's coming good. It's a good opener. It's what you want for your first bowl.
Rob concentrating on that bowl. Can't see it yet. There we go.
It's a good opener as well. It's always good to have first bowl just passed. Gives you a chance to do something later on. Kitty goes back.
Yeah, I think we noticed in last night's game between Wayne Hogg and Kobe Hadar, Kobe was short an awful lot, which didn't give him any opportunities. Not easy though. His first time over here, playing in an event, so there'll be a little element of nerves there as well.
Yeah, there was.
Looks closer here,
It
if he's a
does.
good pace.
No, he played that well.
1 red.
Well, for those of you that like to know what the players are playing with, Rob Paxton's a Drake's Pride player. Tends to favour playing with a swingier bowl on these surfaces, so plays with the XP model. Neil Furman. I'm assuming he's out there with his tailors.
Yeah, he's practicing with some internationals, Taylor internationals,
Right.
the last few days, and that's what he's sticking with.
Yeah, well, David Gawley plays with the internationals out there, so it's the favoured swingier bowl. Close again, Rob here.
2 red.
Very well played.
A bit of a chance for a trundler here, Murray, into those. Try and
He's
remove them.
take the Brendan McCullum approach, and if in doubt, hit out. Might want to be that quick though, just sort of play through it.
He looks to have just tried just over the draw, as you say, rather than...
He
No.
never really played that quick enough, I don't think.
No, I felt he had a couple of chances if he'd just played that a yard or two over. A couple of chances of just... Well, I don't think Rob can get in for a 30 yet. If he drops back to his own bowl just round it.
He's a bit shy of
2 shots,
White.
Robert Paxton.
Again, a really good end of bowls. Just felt that Neil perhaps should have been just reaching into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so. I know I would have been.
It's very interesting because you see different games. We watched the Michael Cheeseman Mervyn King game yesterday, and there was a lot of draw bowls sent when quite often, if you'd have had somebody like Nicky Brett or Greg Harlow involved in that game, there would have been a runner involved.
Yes. Everyone has their own theory on how to play, I suppose. So
It's all to do with what you feel confident about
yeah,
playing when you're on the mat.
what works for you,
Yeah.
definitely.
You know, Rob Paxton out there, he's not frightened of playing a runner. He went to Australia for a couple of seasons and came back a greatly improved player, changed his delivery altogether. And all of a sudden he appeared in the top 3-4 of the World Bowls Tour. Fought at it though, he went to the qualifiers for many years, kept knocking on the door, got to the World Championships, got his break there, managed to tie a few games together and proceeded over the next few years.
It's a great start from Neil here. Yeah, definitely Australia is definitely the mecca for bowls
5 inches.
worldwide, I believe.
It's played very professionally over there.
Absolutely.
Well, Rob's urging this on. He must think he's short again.
He is. Oh, that's not very good at all, really.
Very unusual as well, really. One of the questions we do get asked frequently to overseas is about the funding. Do you have to fund yourself to get here? Do you get any support? Or because qualifying is just the start of it, isn't it, really? Then you have to try and get here.
No, I've had some support. My local PBA branch in New Zealand given me $1,000, and my home bowling club in Hastings, Hiratonga Bowling Club, they give me $1,000 as well to help. So it's much appreciated, really.
That's why it's always worth giving them a shout out when we're on.
Yeah, I had
them.
a text message earlier. A friend of mine heard that I was commentating, said to have a shout out. So
There you go.
it's done.
It's great. Places we have people listening in. We've had people at the World Championships listening in from Thailand, Alaska, Madagascar. We've had them from all over.
Internet's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely proved very popular And it's nice now because we get to see every bowl played, whereas going back a couple of years, you only got the quarter-finals onwards once we get to TV stages. Of course, we're grateful Sky TV are here this week, but they only start on Wednesday. So you wouldn't have got to see any of these games if the World Bowls Tour hadn't decided to launch the YouTube channel.
No, it's definitely good. It's definitely good to have these early games on. Says again, the Jack's just run that little bit far. I think he fell out. It might be still 1-0.
1 green.
It was a better bowl. It was almost like Rob was saying to himself, well, we've reached with your fourth. Chance for Neil here. You could just tuck the jack further. Like you say, it does move. Rob's got nothing behind, so it doesn't really matter how far the jack moves. Any movement's good for Neil. But whether he's just
He's playing the forehand.
It's what you call commentator's curse. Sometimes you see a shot and it's probably the safer shot.
The hand does hold up a little bit, the backhand coming back. So he probably didn't back himself to get around the red one.
You conceded one.
Shot, Neil Furman.
And it keeps it all very close after 4 ends. Robert Paxton, world number 4, 3-2 against Neil Furman.
2 after 4 ends.
You have a nice little echo sometimes from the umpire with the score there, but they're keeping the people informed in the crowd. We know on YouTube that there's a lot of viewers out there that are busy at the work desk at the moment, so perhaps can't see the pictures, so they're relying on you and me, Murray, telling them what's happening. I know I had somebody message us in saying that they were doing their ironing, so could we please keep them up to date with what the score was at the end of each end. And ironing's so important, you know, we can't disturb that.
No. No, you can't.
Don't forget, any questions, just bob them into us. Twitter is World Bowls Tour 1. YouTube feed or on Facebook. I'll try and get your questions answered for you. We like to feel that we're keeping you involved, keeping you part of what's going on here.
It's a good start from Neil.
Very, very consistent. He's qualified so many times from the USA. Definitely a quality player.
He's easily the best player. Easily. It's a good opener too. Just a fall behind Neil's bowl, but it's still a good start.
Gap's
Something to
15
work
inches.
with.
Neil just wanting a repeat of his previous delivery. A slight adjustment on weight would be good.
No, he's got a good track by the looks of it. No, he's just pulling up.
It's just his pace.
Yes.
Perfect line. Perfect
It's a
line.
great line. Great line.
This looks overplayed to me.
And he's going to run on a bit. He's down by the tee almost.
At the moment, Rob's just finding one bowl and end to
Yeah,
keep
well,
him in it.
unfortunately, sometimes that's all you need to do in singles.
Especially in sets play,
You
you
do,
know, one
yes.
and end will do, yeah.
Ends, yep. Drop one, get one, you stay in the game.
And of course, when you get to these, we're playing 9 end sets at qualifiers over here. I'm assuming it's the same with yourselves. It's
It is.
7 end sets, yeah.
9 end sets.
Oh, you play 9 end sets.
9 end sets, yep. 2 sets of 9 with a 3 in tie break. It's all square, yep.
Oh, we'll have to have words with them over here. I'd far rather have 7 end sets. You lose a 4 and you're
Struggling.
really struggling.
You're struggling.
9 end set, you don't want to lose a 4 really.
No,
but,
you don't. Never do. Really. It's a good bowl here from Robert.
Again,
Good bowl.
good
That one
bowl.
bowl.
Found it.
But there's a good shot on here for Neil. If he comes down on the forehand again, look, gets a little trail, could click 2 or 3 up. Sits the red bowl back.
Yeah, that's what he'd be looking to do, just get inside his short bowl to the right hand side. He could actually play it off either hand, to be honest, but
He could.
and he's favoured his forehand this way. Looks like he's lined up for the forehand shot.
I don't
is
think
this gonna
he's
hang
given
on?
it any chance at all. Unless he gets a rub off the front one. Or he almost did too.
Didn't really play that with enough positivity.
Good big bowl for Robbo. He draws another shot, goes 5-2 in front.
Yeah, like you say, Murray, big ball here if he can counter 2.
Looks he's close. It just turns a bit. Oh, I can't tell from. Can't tell from here.
Sometimes our camera angle isn't the best. It's definitely 1.
2 shots, Robert Paxton.
Yes,
It
it
was
was
two.
2.
A 5-2 lead. Neil had a big chance there and didn't really take it. I think that was the time to take a chance as well.
After 5 ends.
Oh, we've had a question in, Murray. How many indoors bowls clubs are there in New Zealand?
We have let me think. There's at least 5 full-sized 8 rinks indoor greens, and we've got another one that's got 5 rinks on it. So there's 6. But they're being built at the moment. There's more being built.
Brilliant. I mean, I think one of the questions might be from where that's come from is we're aware that there's a couple of the overseas countries that they haven't got the facility to play indoors, whereas yourself, New Zealand, Australia, you've actually got indoor rinks that you can qualify at.
Well, I'm lucky because we don't have indoor clubs and outdoor clubs. We're all under Bowls New Zealand's umbrella, so our bowling green is actually an indoor green, so I'm sort of a bit of advantage for my area for our PBA zone, so it helps a lot.
And did you have to travel far to actually play in the qualifiers?
Probably take me about 20 minutes to walk to the bowling club.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
Good ball from Neil there. The other question that came in, which is still based on the qualifiers, it's just disappeared off my screen, but I did see it before it disappeared. I think I know the answer, but I'll let you do the answer. I take it your qualifiers are open to men and women as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we actually had a woman qualify for this event last year, but she chose not to come.
Oh, right. Yeah, so it would then be the runner-up that got the offer to
got the offer,
over.
and he didn't want to come either, so...
Oh, right.
Yeah, well...
It's very tough because, like you say, you're having to fund yourself to come over. The qualifiers are hard work. But just to sort of fill in on that question that we did have about men and women, it's all the PBAs are open to any age, any ability, any disability, certainly either sex. We've had qualifiers. We had a lady qualifier at the Scottish International Open this year.
That's great. It's great.
We all do try. It's just that we don't necessarily manage to get all the way.
Shot was about 3.5 inches.
Well, Rob will be looking to reach this bowl, I would think.
He's close. He's very close. I think he's going to pick the jack up, actually. Or a bit of both. Yeah.
Good bowl.
Good bowl.
Yeah, he's just coming up with
One
that
red.
one big bowl every end that's really keeping him going in the set.
Dead
It is, and then he's forcing Neil to do something to...
Well, he's played a little bit.
He's playing with weight, but I'm not sure. I think he's narrow. His bowls swing a lot, but he's going to get lucky. No, he was narrow. I was right.
Wow.
By about
You're really pleased that you're
5
right there,
centimetres.
yeah. Oh dear, missed it by nothing there, really. Played it with probably a bit better weight than he's been playing his runners.
He actually was more positive that time.
Looks a nice target from this end, looking down the rink there. The bowling away from our commentary box here. Been interesting from my point of view, Murray, looking at the choice of hand of some players.
Yeah, they're all, both ends, both ways play different. So it's a matter of picking one that you find, I suppose.
Well, Rob will be disappointed with that.
Yeah, no, that wasn't. He had those 2 bowls of Neil's to rest on to count another one, and he fell short. It gives Neil a chance again.
Yeah, he's gone more positive.
This is closer, I believe. I think he might have the kitty this time.
Very close here.
Yeah, very good bowl. Oh, he's running. No, I can't tell.
Can't tell from our camera angle whether that stayed with it or not.
It looks like he scored one then.
Yeah.
Yes, he
One
did.
shot, Neil
Yeah,
Furman.
that was good. That keeps him in this first set. A good picture there. You've got David Gawley on the
Set
back
scores
row.
5-3 after 6 ends.
And the Hong Kong qualifier, Dick Light, was on the front row there. We said that's the Rogues Gallery.
It
Those
is.
players
That-
tend to sit in that area.
It certainly was this morning.
Yes, it's funny how the players always tend to congregate round that area.
28 metres.
I was saying to the viewers this morning, that's the place if you want to play a spot, look in that area.
Yes.
Got a nice crowd in here at Blackpool, and as the week goes on, I know we've sold out of tickets towards the back end of the week.
It's great. It's a good opener from Neil.
Yeah.
It's a good opener.
It's, seventh end, we often say in these 9-end sets that the 7th end is quite crucial, and this is quite crucial here if Neil can keep himself in it.
He really needs to at least score 1 on this end to. And 1 to Robert makes it sort of hard in the 9th end. 3 behind, it's this level. You don't score many 3s and 4s.
If Neil can just find one here, and it puts the pressure on world number 4, Robert Paxton. He played a superb game of bowls in the semi-finals against Alec Marshall at the World Championships.
It's still a good bowl.
Well, it covers any trail really. Rob will be hoping to just adjust to that now. Questioning Murray, do you have any other plans in the UK before you head back home?
Depends how I go this afternoon, I suppose. I do have a cousin who lives in Stirling, Scotland.
Right,
So
yes. Oh, beautiful part of the world.
yeah, I was sort of
5 inches.
probably going to go up there if things don't go to plan on the bowling green for a few days. Yeah.
I think the thought on that is it's such a long way to come, and you make the most of it while you're over here. If you've got relatives,
absolutely,
you can.
yes, absolutely.
The other question that we've had in, it might take you a little bit to work this one out. Somebody's asked, how long did it actually take you to get here, door to door? I'll leave that one with you for a while.
I just have a
Quick tote up.
yeah.
Well, Rob, if he gets another in here,
2 red.
It's good bowling, very good bowling.
well, it forces Neil to really have to play the runner again. Looks like he's just setting up for the draw.
Looks like he's coming down on the back end. He's trying to rest the red bowl on.
He's just
He's
under.
underneath. I do see a tendency for a lot of less aggressive play since I've been here watching these games. They seem to back the draw more than the quicker shots.
It's
But I won't be doing that.
it's quite surprising. We were talking about this yesterday. Greg Harlow was in the commentary box with me, and we were saying sometimes when they get out there and playing on this surface, it's almost like you change your plan in your head sometimes, and you're better to go out there and play what game you would normally play.
Yeah, that's right. Because it does obviously different from outside. Because you think it looks easy. I'll just put it. Sometimes I think.
3 shots, Robert Paxton.
See that first set gone.
Set score is 8-3 after 7 ends.
Oh no, there's still
2 sets,
Still
2
two
ends
seems
rather
to
to
go over,
play,
yeah,
but yes, you'd feel like at this stage that Robert Paxton was
Yeah.
in control. It's interesting because Rob's won every end going in direction they've just played in, and Neil's won every end playing back down away from the commentary box, so perhaps this is his chance. Yeah, we tend to find, looking at commentary, players like from New Zealand, and
26 metres.
we know sort of Ben Twist quite well from the Australia, because obviously he's played in a few events.
He's run those.
He's not frightened of playing a runner.
Yes. Yeah, well, that's the nature as well. I think Australians and New Zealanders are naturally aggressive on the outsides,
Yeah,
and because
so-
we don't have a difference between inside outside, the speed's pretty much the same. We just play the same game inside.
That's a better ball from Neil. Just took the jack again.
It's a good ball from Neil.
One green.
Well, he needs to really, realistically, he's 5 behind with 2 ends to play. He needs to be picking up the 3 at this end to give him a chance.
He needs two to start with, really, but 3's a bonus, I think.
I won't do it with that ball, Neil.
No,
Gap
that's-
is 16 inches.
Did you manage to total up in your head how long it
Well,
took?
I left New Zealand on Wednesday morning. No, well, I left my home. I had to fly to Auckland
One
first,
red.
45-minute flight. Delayed 7 hours before I caught first ever direct flight from Auckland to Dubai, 16 and a half hours. So, and then 7.5 hours from Dubai to Manchester, another hour and a bit on the train to Blackpool North, and about 10 minutes on the bus to here. So that's probably close to 2 days.
Sure, that deafened you at home as much as it deafened Murray and I here in the commentary box. We get that full on in the ear. Yeah, I think when you've got to travel that sort of distance, you've got to give yourself a good couple of days when you get here to just
Yeah.
acclimatise.
Yeah, so I arrived here on Thursday afternoon, so I've just started to feel normal again today, really, or yesterday. I think that might have been the closest I've seen to 2 seconds to the
We actually had 1-1 yesterday.
1-1.
I've been keeping a
Oh.
check on it. It was in the David Gawley, Steve Allen game.
One red.
We did get the timeout alarm go off in the first game yesterday morning between Nick Brett and Gary Smith, but we often get these gremlins in the first game, but Gary had delivered his bowl, and same yesterday, Steve Allen had delivered his bowl before anything went wrong.
Neil's having has to have a run. It looks
Looks
he's
well
narrow,
under.
but he might get lucky, which he did. Oh, unlucky. It's the old adage, you can't get lucky if you're short.
Yes, you've got to be reaching to give yourself a chance. I think Rob's fancying. Oh, he's just removing that, so whether he thinks it's just the one.
Oh, looks. It's a mystery.
One shot, the first set to Robert Paxton.
Yeah, just confirmation though. We were waiting for confirmation. One shot to Robert Paxton means he takes the first set 9-3. And Neil had his chances in that first set, Maureen.
He
Didn't
did.
just necessarily try them, take them.
He did have his chances. He probably wish he could play those bowls again. You know, it's always the way. But
I think he'll possibly look back on this YouTube stream and think there's a couple of opportunities there that
6.5 metres.
worth taking. Take your chances sometimes. Especially when you're playing against somebody as consistent as Rob Paxton. You need to...
it's a great start from Robert. Great start.
We're in the second set, so everything starts afresh, but Neil's got to win this to take us into our first tie break of the event here at Blackpool Newton Hall, where you're watching the Co-operative Funeralcare International Open 2016.
It's
Rob's
a
looking good
bowl.
again, yeah.
It's like he's found a good rhythm. Yeah.
Found his sights now,
He's
got them sorted. Well, Neil played to just try and change something there, and perhaps should have been trying that a few more times in the first set.
I think he should have.
Yeah.
Like, that's the first end of the second set, but it wasn't far away though. I don't think he'll play the same shot next time.
Close
Unless
again here.
Robert gives him the target, which he has.
Gap to the shot ball. The gap to the shot ball and the jab.
Neil's coming down again. He's got a little bit less weight than last time. I didn't think he would try and play that weight again, but still one missing wide.
Yeah, it's hard as a player to try and put that first set behind you and think, right, I'm playing a fresh set. Need to just be a bit more positive, perhaps. That's what Neil needs to be thinking anyway.
Yeah, I think so.
We did have one shock yesterday. Jason Greenslade, world number 12, was toppled by Canadian qualifier Cody Olthoff.
Yeah, good cover bowl there from Robert. Yeah, that gives us qualifiers hope when we see results like that.
There's always a chance in these 9-end sets, especially the first rounds. A lot of the times when these top 16 have settled into the event, then that can be hard work. But
It does help us as qualifiers that it's not played on the portable rink.
yes, yeah, it's a bona fide rink.
Neil never gave himself a chance. He tried to draw the shot. He's probably narrow to draw the shot, but
Similar sort of length to what Rob's been playing.
it's another good opener from Robert.
Well, Neil needs to just get inside that. Great opening end there from Rob Paxton to pick up a 3.
So he's dropped short here. That's when your first bowl's reasonably good like that. You really want to be just past the kitty or jack. I don't know, what do you call it over here?
Oh, there's
Kitty or
various
jack.
different. Some places they call it the white.
The white.
The white.
But that's yellow though.
Yes,
obviously.
I know,
Where does
it's-
that work?
Certainly, some areas you go to, they say, you know, you need to pick up the white. We call it jack round here because it's a predominantly crown green area, and at crown
Yes.
green we would call it a jack.
Jack, yes.
So it would be a jack in New Zealand then,
Jack or kitty.
or kitty, yeah.
Yep.
No better ball from Rob there. Still a bit of room.
There's a little trail on here for Neil to play if he can. He can use Robert's bowl, get a little bit of a shoulder as we call it at home, and pull the kitty back to his own bowl.
There's certainly a chance for him. Well, this looks a good line.
It does. He should bend his bowl's bend, but he's played it. Oh, he's just drawn the shot as good bowl.
Great
Good
ball.
bowl.
Shot bowl's been indicated.
Rob just looking to get to his last bowl. Try and slip past it. He
Looks
gets
like
to
he's
Neil's
gonna
bowl.
slip past it.
One green.
Chance for Neil. Rest that last one. Just get inside it.
The last
Yes.
bowl is 10 inches short of jack high.
It's not going to look
Oh.
good for that.
Yeah,
The
you might
gap
think
is
it's in his
9
way.
inches and it's about 12 inches short.
Yep, backhand.
On a good track again. Gets to.
Looks close. He's played it very well here. Oh no, one in, one out.
One shot, Neil Furman.
One shot to Neil means Rob Paxton leads 3-1 after 2 ends. Second set, he won the first set 9-3. Still got a chance. He's still playing well. It's Neil. But he's got to try and tie a few ends together now, I feel.
He does.
Chat length 29.5 metres.
Well, lead required. Looks all right here.
Yeah, good opener from Neil. This is like a good reply from Robert here. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, great bowl.
1 red.
That's all Rob needs now, really, is just to keep the pressure on Neil. Neil's got to win the set, so
Yeah, it's always hard because the draw's no good to him. So, what saw in the last game, Steve needed to get a 2 on the last end to win the set, and Mark had everything covered. Just 1 down wasn't good enough.
no, that's the. We thought perhaps the last game was going to go to a tie break. It was very, very tight, and Steve Halmy played very well. Oh, Rob's here again.
Yeah, very good bowl. That's great bowling, really.
2 red. Top score now.
Well, at least Mike was able to warn about that. Obviously, there was
Just
a
slightly past.
issue with the shot clock there. That might have woken a few up in the crowd.
I see it's not counting down at the moment.
Yeah, if there is a problem with it, they will inform the players that there's a issue with the shot clock, and normal rules would then apply
1 red.
of whether they follow the third bowl up or not. At the moment, when you play under shot clock, you can follow any bowl up you want, as long as you've bowled your bowl within the time. It looks like the clock is back on. If we play without the shot clock, the players are only allowed to visit the head after the third bowl, unless they request earlier and
That's
get
the
permission to
marker.
do so. Yeah,
Yes.
which is what we play in qualifiers
Yes,
anyway.
that's
so
how we play at home, yes. This is a very good bowl again. This is a great bowl. That's very impressive. Looks like he's holding 3.
3
He
red.
is.
yeah, 3 red. Well, what do you play here if you're Neil Murray?
Hit note, maybe.
I think there's a chance of getting at least one away, isn't there?
Might have.
He's got a chance of
Exactly.
taking them all out, but I think he needs to play into these.
She is. It looks close.
Looks
Oh,
on a good
he's
line.
very close. He might get. Oh, he's going to hit the front one.
Oh, he's very unlucky with that.
Two.
It's still
Two
2.
red.
Not 2. Even if he doesn't draw with another here, it gives him a 5-1 lead. It looks close for the draw again here. Might just not be reaching.
I would have been inclined to play the forehand there because there's nothing in the way coming down there. A little trail for 4 maybe.
Two shots, Robert Paxton.
And it's interesting that Rob has definitely played well coming in the direction towards the scoreboard and where our commentary position is. If you're used to playing at Newton Hall as a club green, if you've been here in Nationals, the big scoreboard's right behind where Rob Paxton stood there, and our commentary box is at the back there in the top corner. Whereas in this direction it's tended to favour Neil Furman, but he's only been counting the 1 shots, whereas Rob's been picking up counts of 2 and 3.
He's got multiple shots.
Here again.
It's a great opener. He's been
2 inches short.
It's a good track.
He's very good. He's going to pick Kitty up here, I believe.
Oh, good
It's
ball.
a good ball. Robert's on a good line here. Looks close to me. Just ran past, but
On green.
It's quite interesting because we often say about the seeds that they're vulnerable in the first game up, but they often say that they like that first game because it gives them a chance to get proper match practice out there. You go out and practice and it's totally different when you get into a
no, it's
match
much different.
situation.
We've been practicing with 4 of us, so we had 2 turns go up and back and that, and you don't. It's not the same because you
2 green.
got a 8-minute gap between when you're playing. So
Last ball.
Yeah, the practice sessions here are booked 4 players per half hour or hour, depending on what practice slot's available. So 4 of you go out there, play to a set jack. It's nice
This
in
is
one
very-
respect because you get to play against bowls, but it's still not match.
no,
Match
it's not.
play.
It's not
Okay.
match practice. You can't
One
beat
inch.
match practice.
Oh, great bowl there from Rob.
Neil's on the drive. He's very close. I think he's got it. Oh, he's killed it as well. Oh, jeez.
Certainly shows that he's got the drive shot in his armoury. This means that the jack will have gone out of the side confines of the rink, I believe. And if so, it goes on a respot position. You'll watch Mike Davis now, yeah, it's going on a respot position. That means when he hit it, it went out side of where you can see those yellow lines on the rink. In ordinary play, in your clubs and that would have been a replayed end. Whereas World Bowls Tour rules, we play to a respot jack.
It's a great bowl to the respot, Jack.
That's great,
Great
yeah,
ball.
brilliant. Can't get much closer than that on that hand coming down. Is it something that you practice, the respots, Murray?
No, no, it isn't. You should, I suppose.
I suppose if you've got the idea where the line of your bowl is anyway out on the rink,
It's-
it's just a question of adjusting to where the
yes,
jack is.
especially on a carpet, it shouldn't. B2, you just go a bit wider. It shouldn't change.
This looks a good
This
track.
is good, close again from Neil. I think.
All on his pace here, I think.
Oh,
Oh,
he
it's
just
gonna
died.
dip under.
Just died.
Great effort.
One shot, Robert Paxton.
Well, that puts him 6-1 up after 4 ends, the world number 4. The winner of this match faces Mark Royal in the next round on Wednesday. And don't forget, after lunch, after this game, we'll have a short break for lunch, and then we'll be back with you with Alex Marshall MBE versus Ben Twist, Stuart Anderson versus Stuart Irwin, Jonathan Ross versus Murray Glassy. The final match today, Andy Thompson MBE versus Dick Light from Hong Kong. With you for every game, so please come and join me, and also send us any questions in. I've got a player in with me or an official. We'll try and get them answered while we're here. If not, if it's a question I've got to put to the World Bowls Tour, we'll get those answered for you. Perhaps drag the CEO of the World Bowls Tour into commentary later and get any of your PBA questions answered. I believe for my next game, which is Alex Marshall MB and Ben Twist, I'm being joined by the Scottish International Open champion, Greg Harlow. So any questions towards Greg, you could be thinking about those over your lunchtime and send them in to us, and we'll put them to Greg for you.
It's Neil on the back end here. Looks close. Looks very close. It's a good bowl.
Well, he's in the position now, Murray, where he really has to
He does.
be scoring.
And his
What Rob proved in the first set, he comes up with that one bowl, whether it's his third or fourth bowl. It looks like he's on a good track with this one. Could have done it again here.
looks like he has. You see this?
Yep. It's almost like you're waiting to see which one of the 4 bowls he's going to do it with.
Yeah, there's usually the third or fourth.
Yeah, he'll probably have a word with himself after the game about that, because we normally say your first bowl's key, but Rob's certainly been playing his third, fourth bowls very well here. He's an England international skip, so perhaps he's getting in some practice for the international series
Neil's
next
very
week.
close here. He's played.
Very unlucky there, actually.
He played a good bowl. Any movement on the front bowl, the jet goes to his bowls.
But unfortunately, he's brought Rob's front bowl back into the equation, and Rob holds 2. There's many of the players here. We have the international series, which is England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, and that all starts this Friday for the ladies. And we have the British Isles in between, and then the men's international series the following week. And I know Rob's skipping for England then, so got a lot of bowls coming up as Rob Paxton.
This is a good bowl. It's very good.
And we can't take it away from him, he's certainly played well.
No, he is. He's played well when he's needed to.
Because
Definitely.
this really gives Neelan no shot, because prior to that bowl he could have just, as we would say, crack an egg on that short bowl, and it would have tipped the jack possibly to his 3 green bowls. Even if he drives at that, Rob's got the best back.
Time out. Neil has 4 timeouts.
Not sure what he'll be looking to play here at all.
It's hard to tell from here. It depends how big a gap between the jack and the shot bowl is. You can use the Rob's bowl on the side as like a shoulder to come off, but he's playing the backhand anyway. It just means that the target's a bit wider. That's all.
He's certainly watching it.
Still watching it. Here we go. tried to draw the shot. And it's,
Wow,
I
that
mean,
was
that's.
yeah, it had to be
3 shots,
perfect for that.
I mean, he could have finished 8 inches away and still been 3 down. So. Yeah.
Well, 9-1 after 5 ends in this second set. Robert Paxton, world number 4, won the first set 9-3. That means that Neil's got to pick up 9 shots in 4 ends. Not an easy ask at all.
Not at this level, no, definitely not.
Quite interesting because there's been a number of these first round games, Murray, where the score really hasn't reflected the game because Neil played a very good opening set, but
He did.
perhaps didn't take a couple of his chances that he should have done. But he certainly put some good bowls up.
He is. It's just the nature of the game sometimes.
Good bowl again from Rob there. He only has to just keep these ends tight now. Doesn't have to do anything
Just
too risky.
mix and match Neil's bowls. And he stopped Neil from scoring any shots. 1 down's a good result for Robert.
Just under, I think. Rob certainly found his line and length here.
He certainly played a lot better in the second set.
Yeah, again, it's that situation where you get the first set under your belt. You kind of know whatever happens, you're going into a tie break,
Yes,
so
you get it
you can
free.
relax that little bit
you
more.
can get a free chance, or if you like, play a shot or something, of knowing that it's not going to be too bad. I mean, tiebreaker.
That was a very loose bowl from Neil there. He knows he's in the position where he has to count shots now.
As Robert won't be looking at getting anywhere near the kiddie, I wouldn't have thought. He should be just covering the green bowls.
He's just dropped this a bit short.
He is.
Good bowl, but like you say, I think he would have been wanting that to finish centre somewhere. Does give a target. Neil.
Neil's on the run. He's close. I think he might have the last bowl onto the kiddie, is he almost? Or just around it.
And then took his other side bowl out, which I think it's brought Rob's bowl back just to the bottom of your screen here. Thank you, cameraman, for that. Which puts Rob's bowl there in a very good position. A lot of spectators often say to me, well, why weren't they just drawing at that? And you have to try and explain to people that in sets play, you've only got so many ends left. One's no good to Neil at all, really, at this stage.
No, he needs to be scoring 2s and 3s, really. That surprises me. I would have probably played the other hand and just covered the green bowl myself. Which would have meant whatever happened, Neil only could get 1.
Yeah.
He's got a chance to get 2 if he.
I
It's
was
a
going
hard
to say
shot to
that
play.
the respot probably gives him a 2 there as well on that side at the
Absolutely.
moment, yeah.
Yep.
It's worth the chance, I think.
I think he has to play it, really.
So I thought Rob might have gone for the respot.
Time out.
Certainly from our camera angles, it looks like Neil could flick that jack out. If he misses, however, played
So
it
he's
as
still
a
playing.
timer.
He's wide, I think. Yeah. That's it.
3
12.
shots, Robert Paxton.
Yeah, that's one of those positions where, 12-1 up, 3 ends to
Neil
play.
has 3 timeouts remaining.
I think the world number 4, Robert Paxton can start thinking about his lunch and making sure he's booked for the next couple of days, because guaranteed he'll be back here on Wednesday, as long as he scores at this end or doesn't drop a 4. Neil's got to score 12 in 3 ends, which even my mathematics works that out at 3 4s.
Yes. Yeah, it was similar in the game Robert and Greg played yesterday. Robert basically needed the miracle.
Yeah, we had a bit of confusion there because Rob Chisholm went to shake hands and Sandra McLeish told him he couldn't, because we have to play out any ends possible. We have people watching all over and we like to see every end played possible, and it is possible at the moment. Neil would have to score 3 4s, which would mean that he would win the second set 13-12, and that would take us into a tie break.
There's the first of 4. That's a good ball.
That's one.
That's about an 1.5 gap. Your bowl is 14.
He'll be saying to himself, why didn't I do that earlier? Like I say, he hasn't played badly. Rob's just gone with some key bowls, certainly in the first set with his 3rd or 4th bowl, and he's gone to a good game in this second set. If you do decide to leave us for your lunch, don't forget to join us straight after lunch. I would think we'll be reconvening about 1:30 for Alex Marshall MBE versus Ben Twist. Join us again for that. And we're with you for the rest of the afternoon. Stuart Anderson, Stuart Irwin, Jonathan Ross, Murray Glassy and Andy Thompson MBE and Dick Light. You can watch every bowl sent with us here at World Bowls Tour YouTube. And if you can't stay with us, don't forget you can catch up with all the results and news on worldbowlstour.tv, the World Bowls Tour website.
It's a good ball here from Robert by the looks of it. Yeah, it's very good. Second shot's all he wants, really.
1 green.
Is the last ball past the jack or not?
No, it's about 6 inches short of jack high.
I mean, it's just a question of working out how we can get 4 here.
About 6
Can't
inches
afford to be
short
short, Maury, whatever.
No, boy, no. Maybe the backhand, little spill on the kitty. That's all I can see. That's what he's playing.
Yeah, I think it's the only shot he's got on. Needs to reach.
That might as well. Oh, he's close. Oh, is he going to get around it? He's
Well,
almost
that still gives him a chance.
played it.
Now, how do you remove the red ball of Robert Paxton's that's to the left of the viewer's screen and stay for 4?
It is possible, but I don't think he can play it without moving the kitty as well.
I think if Rob could just draw to that back bowl of Neil's, or just be behind here somewhere, I think it would take away any danger.
Yeah,
Just
he has
needs
to
to
be
run a
behind
bit.
his own ball.
I'm surprised at that. He's just dropped short.
But he's
He's
sort of
tried to cover it
he's
a
a bit
bit.
blocked.
Yeah,
He's
covered the
blocked
bowl.
Neil, not blocked Neil's shot, but he still probably has to play it.
Well, folks, this ball from Neil Furman, he's got to be laying 4 after this ball comes to rest. Otherwise, Robert Paxton steps into round 2 here at the Co-operative Funeralcare International Open, hosted by Blackpool Newton Hall. Well, it's on its way.
Studying it closely, Neil. He hit it.
Oh, great effort,
Oh.
really.
Furman, second set,
2
match,
shots, but
Paxton.
Robert Paxton takes the match. I'd like to thank Murray Glassy for joining me in commentary and wish you the very best of luck in the rest of the tournament and enjoy your stay here at Blackpool.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
And join us again after lunch for Alec Marshall MBE and Ben Twist. Thanks for your company this morning.
Well, that concludes your morning matches, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll continue with this afternoon at 1:30. give yourselves a chance to go and get something to eat, and I'll see you all back later. Thank you very much.